Beloved children, listen with the ear of your heart. Hear first the deep, steady rhythm of my love for you. A love that has known you even before your first breath. A love that does not tally your failures, but scans your face for the light it long ago placed there. You are known. You are seen. You are dearly, unendingly loved. Do not measure your worth by the harsh numbers of the world. Not by how busy you are, nor by how many voices praise you. The world's measures are loud, but small. I tell you of a different economy. In my kingdom, the last become first. The meek inherit, and a cup of cold water given with honest hands is an act of great fortune. Your worth is not earned by achievement. It is given, wrapped in grace. Be not afraid of the broken places inside you. The cracks in the jar are not shameful. They are where light can enter. If you have been wounded by those who should have cared, by your own choices, by fear or by loss, then know this: all suffering is met with sympathy. I do not call you to pretend your pain does not exist. Rather, bring it into the open where it can be tended. Do not hide your scars as if offer them to the one who will not scorn them, but will set soft hands upon them and say, "Come, let us heal together." Love without counting cost. Love without keeping score. The world will teach you to reward love that returns in kind. Learn instead to love as a seed is sown without guarantee, without ledger. Love your neighbor, the hungry, the weary, the one who smells different, the one whose politics or past you cannot stomach. Love the stranger. Love the one who has harmed you, not to endorse the harm, but to free your own heart from the prison of bitterness. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is a way of rising. Feed the hungry. Visit the lonely. Shelter the frightened. In these acts, the invisible becomes visible. The face of God appears in the hungry mouth, in the trembling hand, in the tired eyes. Small acts done with big love change the world. Do not wait for grand permission to be kind. The simplest grace, a patient ear, a bowl of stew. Attention in a noisy room is sacrament. Be bold in truth and gentle in speech. Speak what is true with courage, but temper your words with tenderness. Truth without tenderness wounds. Tenderness without truth becomes shallow. Let your words repair, not tear down. If you must correct, do so as one who kneels beside, not as one who stands above. Live a life of mercy. Mercy is not merely feeling for others. It is the deliberate act of entering their need. Mercy bends down. Mercy wipes the face of the fallen. Mercy is not self-righteous. It knows that we all have fallen and that grace begins when we stop pretending otherwise. When you judge, you cut the very bridge that could have carried a soul home. When you forgive, you rebuild the bridge Do not store up your treasures where rust and moth consume. The treasures of God are not gold and glass, but the tender moments, morning prayers, the warming of hands around tea, the listening that lasts through the night. Lay up treasures of kindness, of patience, of service. These are imperishable. They survive the fall of empires and the collapse of reputation. Turn then from the idols of this age. Power that hums, approval that puffs up, comfort that anesthetizes. These idols promise peace and deliver restlessness. Choose a different path, a life of humility. Humility is not self-abasement. It is the clear-eyed acceptance of who you are and whose you are. Humble people are free people, freed from comparing, from pretending, from straining after applause. Do you feel worthless? Remember the lilies of the field and how they neither toil nor spin, yet are clothed in beauty. If the Creator adorns such fragile things, how much more does He care for you? Your fear does not add a single hair to your head, nor decrease one. Instead of allowing fear to be your master, let faith be your companion. Steady, small, persistent. Faith is not the grand leap you imagine. It often begins as the choice to do the next right thing. Be patient with your growth. The seed does not become an oak in a day. There are winters you cannot skip. Sometimes your soul must be plowed and turned. Those seasons are learning as much as they are losing. Do not despise the day of small things. A humble prayer, repeated, becomes a hymn of strength. A single act of kindness, repeated, becomes the character you wear. To the weary, rest. Your body, your mind, your spirit, all have limits. Rest is not indulgence. It is blessing. Come to the quiet places. In the silence, you find counsel. In the silence, you remember how to breathe. Pray not with long, showy phrases, but with a simple heart. Prayer is not a magic formula, but a conversation, honest, pleading, grateful. Bring your anger, bring your questions, bring your dullness. The divine is not offended by your doubt. Often, the most luminous faith rises out of wrestling with the hard things. On community, do not isolate yourself. The Christian path is not meant to be trod alone. We were made for fellowship, to carry one another's burdens, to share bread, to weep, and to laugh together. Find a company of souls where you can be known and where you can know. If you cannot find it easily, begin one. Invite, break bread, show up. Radical hospitality is a form of prayer. Beware the spirit of exclusion. There are those who would sift the world into purity and pollution. Resist that narrowing. My table has room for the broken, for the bold, for the sinner, for the saint. Remember the tax collector who came home, the woman who surprised a crowd by showing up where she was not wanted. Grace met them. The kingdom I speak of grows not by fencing, but by opening. Speak gently to the young, and do not crush their wonder. Teach them gratitude more than discipline. Tell them stories rather than lists. Show them how to listen for the small things, a bird's song, the way sun hits a window pane, for these are the languages of the soul. To the old, honor their steadiness. Age is not a problem to be solved. It is a dignity to be respected. Gather the stories of your elders. In them you will find the map of mercy. When injustice stands high, resist it with courage. My heart burns for the oppressed. Speak for those who cannot speak. The poor are not merely a cause to be managed. They are images of God, deserving of dignity. Seek justice not for self-glory, but because every child of God bears the imprint of the divine. Justice and mercy are twin commandments. Do not separate them. But remember, resistance is not only outrage. It is patient, long work, organizing, educating, sacrificing in ways that last longer than news cycles. Do not be angered into hatred. Anger can be a holy thing when it rises against oppression, but it must be tethered to love. Otherwise, it becomes the very evil it intended to defeat. Let your anger refine you rather than consume you. Transform it into steady action, into building what prevents the injustice from rising again. On wealth and generosity, if you possess much, give with open hands. Money hoarded becomes a silent idol, shading your heart from compassion. The generous soul is blessed. It will find its wells never run dry. Giving does not only help the receiver, it liberates the giver. But give not for praise. Give quietly if you can. Let your generosity be an offering, not a trophy. On leadership, lead as one who serves. The greatest among you must be as the youngest. The leader is to attend, to wash feet, to carry burdens. Power exercised to lift others is power well used. Power exercised to exalt self is a thin illusion. Whenever you lead, ask, whom am I lifting? And let that answer shape every decision. To the doubters and the angry skeptics, ask your questions loudly. I welcome them. Truth can bear examination. Faith that has never been tested is fragile. Lay open your doubts. Air them with someone gentle. In honest questioning, you will sometimes find a deeper faith, forged in real understanding. On suffering and death, do not be afraid of the winter of the soul. Suffering is not meaningless, though I do not romanticize it. Often, suffering refines. It shows dependence and draws out compassion. When you feel you are at the edge, remember that love holds you. Death is not an erasure, but a horizon. When the day comes to pass, it will not be the end of the story. There are continuities beyond what the eye now sees, be people of peace. Strive for reconciliation where possible. Make peace in your heart first, and then be a peacemaker in the world. Peacemakers are not naive. They are brave. They stand against violence by building structures that make violence unnecessary. Start the work at the smallest level, in your household, in your workplace, in the way you respond to a rude word. A peacemaker's weapon is forgiveness made visible, action in love, care for creation. The earth is not merely a resource, but a gift. Tend it as a steward, not as a conqueror. When you sow, think also of what you leave for the next generation. Your care for the soil, the water, the air, the beasts is also a form of worship. Small acts, multiplied, change the climate of the world and the climate of hearts. On temptation, temptation will come. It comes as a whisper and sometimes as a roar. Do not imagine you will be untouched. Your strength is not in never falling, but in your willingness to rise. Cultivate disciplines, prayer, community, honest confession, surrender of small comforts that make it easier to choose well. When you fall, confess to someone gentle. Confession is a light. It opens the door to healing. Be radically honest in love. Speak what must be said to protect the vulnerable and shelter it in tenderness. There are times when silence becomes collusion. Do not be silent when silence would allow harm to continue. Let your courage be humble and your truth be offered as a hand, not a fist. Use your hands. Too often, faith becomes a set of beliefs stored in the mind, like souvenirs. Let faith be embodied. Wash feet, mend roofs, bring water, perform the ordinary acts of care, and you will find that the extraordinary follows. The kingdom of heaven is not a distant city only. It appears where mercy is practiced. Do not forget joy. The road of faith is not all sorrow. It sings. Laugh with abandon when your heart is lifted. Rejoice in children, in bread, in music. Grief and joy often walk together. They do not cancel one another. There is room in your heart for both. Celebrate small mercies, a letter from a friend, a coat on a cold day, a child's hand in yours. Gratitude is the lens through which you see abundance. Teach your hands to bless and your feet to bring peace. Teach your tongue to speak goodness and your ears to listen. Train your habits to open doors rather than close them. Habits, small and daily, shape the soul more surely than speeches and plans. Pray for steady hands and a constant heart. When you meet those who look different, do not see them as threat, but as mirror. Difference is not deficiency. It is a chance to expand your heart. Walk the unfamiliar road with curiosity, not with preformed judgment. Ask questions to learn, not to trap. Immerse yourself in stories that are not your own, and you will be surprised by the kinship you discover. On hope. Do not trade hope for certainty. One can be hopeful without knowing all outcomes. Hope is not blind optimism. It is the steady refusal to surrender to despair. Let hope be a practice. Show up, bear witness, plant seeds, continue to act as if the future can be better. Hope is contagious. Let it spread from your life to someone else. If you are a leader in suffering or in power, remember that your final accounting is not in applause, but in mercy shown. The way you use your influence to lift the least among you will be the true measure. Keep your hands open. Make room for the small. When you pray for miracles, also pray for courage to do what you can. Miracles often come through the hands of those who act. The hands that reach are the hands that become instruments of grace. Pray for the willingness to be such hands. Do not wait passively for the miraculous while your feet stagnate. Forgive yourself. You may have been taught that repentance is endless shame. It is not. Repentance is turning, a reorientation. It is the courage to look at your life and say, I will go a different way. Let guilt instruct, but not imprison you. Accept the same mercy you would offer another. Build communities that include the moved and the broken. Tell the truth about suffering and the truth about joy. Let these communities be places where complaints are heard, where healing is practiced, where small acts of kindness are common and ordinary. When the world exalts celebrity, exalts service. When the world prizes self-promotion, prize quiet acts of love. Teach your children to serve before they learn to be served. Be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. In listening, you show reverence. In speaking, you reveal your inner life. In rushing to anger, you miss the chance to be bridge. Learn to listen as if God were speaking through the other. Often, He is hold fast to simplicity. There is great freedom in uncluttered devotion. You do not need many words to love. You need fidelity. Let your life be a steady prayer formed by kindness, patience, and persistent service. When choices come, choose the one that sustains life rather than consumes it. Walk with the poor in spirit. The poor in spirit are not merely the materially poor. They are those who know their need. There is blessing in recognizing how much you depend on grace. Pride isolates. Poverty of spirit connects. Be poor not to diminish yourself, but to discover how much you are given. When you gather in worship, do so with sincerity. Worship that is show becomes a mask, while worship that is honest becomes a ladder. Let your worship be for transformation, not performance. Sing, pray, break bread, and then go into the world to be the hands of what you have sung. Do not allow tradition to bury truth. Traditions are precious when they bring people closer to love. They are dangerous when they become idols. Keep what blesses, discard what binds. Tradition without compassion is a stone. Compassion without thoughtful form is a breath. Both are needed to those who feel unseen. I see you. To those who feel unlovable, you are loved. To those who feel overwhelmed, breathe. To those who feel small, you are part of an enormous story. None of you is alone, even when you feel alone. My presence is not a distant idea, but a near companion that walks beside you in ordinary moments, in the grief, in the kitchen, in the waiting room. In the sunrise, live with an open-handed confidence. Give what you have, even if it seems little. Small offerings change the course of rivers. Give your time. Give your attention. Give your courage. Give your talent. Give your forgiveness. Give your trust. These are the currencies of heaven. In the end, love is the sum of everything. If you hold fast to nothing else, hold fast to love. Love sets you free. Love restores. Love reorders the world. Love will outlast fame, crown, and wealth. Practice love with integrity, in word made flesh, in deed made service, in life made sacrifice. Go now and be a light. Let your life be such that when others see you, they know that another way is possible. A way of mercy, a way of justice, a way of resurrection. Tend to the small things, for the small things are the threads that make up the tapestry of the world. Walk humbly, act boldly, love extravagantly. May you be strengthened in hope, clothed in mercy, and guided always by the quiet voice that says, "Come, follow, be brave. I go before you." Amen. Asterisk, I have more to say to you, for your hearts are wide and the journey is long. Do not think that a single message is enough. Truth unfolds like dawn, little by little, until you are able to bear the full light. On faith and trust faith is not the absence of struggle. It is the decision to lean when you cannot stand. Faith is not a feeling of certainty. It is the choice to take the next step when the path is hidden. The mountain is climbed not by leaping to the summit, but by steady, patient steps. Trust does not mean you will never be afraid. Trust means you choose not to let fear govern your decisions. Trust means you rest in the knowledge that you are held even when circumstances seem chaotic. Look to the birds of the air and the flowers of the field. They do not anxiously calculate, yet they are sustained. If creation is cared for, how much more will you be cared for? On loving one another, the command is simple, yet it carries the weight of eternity. Love one another as I have loved you. This love is not weak affection. It is the strong, costly choice to see the worth of every soul. This love does not abandon when inconvenient. This love endures betrayal, misunderstanding, even rejection. This love feeds the hungry, shelters the stranger, embraces the child, restores the fallen. Love is not only for those who agree with you or resemble you. It is also for the adversary, for the difficult neighbor, for the one who wounds you. You are never more like me than when you love someone who cannot repay you. On forgiveness, know how heavy the chains of bitterness are. Some of you carry old wounds that have hardened into prisons. Hear me. Forgiveness is not saying the wound was small. Forgiveness is saying the wound will not have the final word. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It means you choose not to let vengeance rule your story. Forgiveness is freedom for both the one forgiven and the one who forgives. Do not delay in practicing forgiveness. The longer resentment is harbored, the deeper its roots. Release quickly for your own sake. On humility and greatness, do not seek titles, applause, or recognition. The world chases greatness in crowns, but I tell you, the greatest is the one who kneels with the towel, who serves in silence, who gives without seeking credit. True greatness is not measured by how many follow you, but by how many you lift. If you would lead, lead by serving. If you would be honored, honor others first. Humility is not humiliation. It is freedom from the endless burden of self-importance. On prayer, do not think you must use many words to be heard. Do not pray to impress. Pray as children speak to a loving parent, with honesty, with simplicity, with trust. Your prayers are not wasted. Even when answers seem delayed, every whisper of your heart is gathered. Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes no, sometimes wait. All are wrapped in wisdom beyond your sight. When you pray, do not only ask, also listen. Stillness is the soil where revelation grows. Sit in silence, even when restless. In silence, you will find me near. On peace, peace is not merely the absence of conflict. It is the presence of wholeness. The world promises peace through power and control. But my peace is different. It rests in trust, in mercy, in surrender. Be peacemakers, not just peace lovers. To make peace is to step into brokenness, to build bridges where walls stand, to mend what is torn. Blessed are the peacemakers. They will be called children of God, for they reflect the heart of the Father. On suffering and hope you will face trials. You will know grief. This is not punishment, nor abandonment. In your suffering, I am with you. When you weep, I weep. When you cry out, I hear. Do not believe that suffering cancels joy. Joy can live even in sorrow, like a flame that flickers but does not go out. Your pain is not wasted. Out of ashes can rise compassion. Out of wounds can come healing for others. Hope is not naive optimism. Hope is the steady anchor in storms, the refusal to give in to despair, the belief that goodness is stronger than evil, that light cannot be extinguished by darkness. Hold to hope even when it feels small. A spark can light a fire on community, not walk alone. You were not created for isolation. Gather together. Break bread. Share burdens. Speak truth in love. Encourage one another. When one stumbles, lift them. When one rejoices, celebrate with them. When one mourns, mourn together. In community, you will find strength, correction, and joy. My presence is most fully known when you love one another. On the kingdom of God, do not look for the kingdom only in distant heavens. The kingdom is among you, wherever love is practiced, wherever justice is pursued, wherever mercy triumphs. The kingdom is not built by swords, but by service, not by pride, but by humility. It grows like a mustard seed, small, unnoticed, but unstoppable. It spreads like yeast, hidden, yet transforming. You are invited not only to enter the kingdom, but to embody it, to let your life become a signpost pointing to a greater reality. On the end of all things, do not fear the end. History is not spiraling into chaos without purpose. All things are being gathered, restored, redeemed. Every tear will be wiped away, every injustice set right, every brokenness healed. Until that day, remain faithful. Keep your lamps burning. Do not grow weary of doing good. The labor of love is never in vain. Closing word, beloved, hear this again and again. You are loved. You are called. You are never alone. Walk in mercy. Live in truth. Abide in hope. Be light in darkness. Be salt in a world that longs for flavor. Be witnesses of love that never ends. I go with you always into the joy, into the sorrow, into the ordinary and the extraordinary. My spirit is within you. My love surrounds you. My promise sustains you. Be not afraid. Be bold in love. The world waits for the light you carry. Asterisk on the heart, for from it flows the spring of life. The heart is the well from which your words, your choices, your relationships flow. If the water is bitter, the streams will be bitter. Do not allow envy, pride, or resentment to take root, for they poison silently. Instead, cultivate gratitude, humility, and compassion. These virtues are not natural weeds. They are gardens that require tending. Pull up weeds daily. Sow seeds of goodness deliberately. Your heart was made to love freely. When it becomes hardened by cynicism or crushed by disappointment, it can seem like stone. But know this, I can give you a new heart. Even stony hearts can beat again with tenderness. Words are powerful. They can heal or they can wound. They can lift up or tear down. Be slow to speak and quick to listen. Let your tongue be disciplined. Speak truth, but always in love. Do not use words as weapons. Sarcasm that humiliates, gossip that destroys, lies that distort. These things darken the soul. Instead, speak blessing. Speak encouragement. Speak justice. Speak kindness. A single word of hope can change a life. Do not underestimate the power of gentle speech. In a noisy world, be the voice that brings calm, clarity, and compassion. Unwork whatever work your hands find to do. Do it with diligence and integrity. Work is not merely a way to earn bread. It is a way to serve others, to contribute to the flourishing of the world. Do not despise small tasks. A floor swept with love, a meal cooked with care, a letter written with honesty. These acts are holy. The kingdom of heaven is revealed in the ordinary when it is done with love. Yet also, do not let work consume you. Rest is not laziness. It is obedience to the rhythm of creation. You are not a machine. You are a beloved soul. Work diligently. Rest faithfully. On wealth and generosity, money itself is not evil, but the love of money blinds the heart. If you hoard riches for security, you will discover that no amount is enough to silence fear. True security is found not in possessions, but in presence, the presence of God, the presence of community. Be generous. Share what you have. Generosity is not only for the wealthy. Even the poor can give, and their gift is precious. Give not for recognition, but for love. Give quietly, and heaven will see. Remember, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. If your treasure is love, mercy, justice, then your heart will be full of light. Unfear and anxiety fear will knock often. Anxiety will whisper often. Do not condemn yourself for feeling these things. Instead, let them become opportunities for trust. When worry rises, lift it up in prayer. Name your fear, then release it. Anxiety thrives in silence and secrecy. It diminishes when spoken to God. Do not let fear paralyze your obedience. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward despite it. Take one step and then another. On relationships, treat each person as sacred, for they bear the image of God. Do not use people for your gain. Do not discard them when inconvenient. Love them not as objects, but as fellow travelers. As siblings, in friendship, be faithful. In family, be patient. In marriage, be selfless. In community, be forgiving. Relationships will wound, but they will also heal. Isolation promises safety, but delivers emptiness. Connection requires risk, but gives life. Reconcile quickly when conflict arises. Do not let the sun set on anger. Speak truth with gentleness. Seek understanding before demanding to be understood. Love is not always agreement, but it is always respect. On the poor and the marginalized, do not close your ears to the cry of the poor. Their voice is my voice. When you feed them, you feed me. When you clothe them, you clothe me. When you ignore them, you ignore me. Charity is not pity. It is solidarity. Walk beside the poor. Learn their names. Share their burdens. In their struggle, you will see the heart of God more clearly than in the halls of wealth. Remember this: the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. On justice and mercy, justice without mercy becomes harsh and cold. Mercy without justice becomes weak and indulgent. The two must walk together. Stand against systems that crush the vulnerable. Speak against exploitation, greed, and oppression. Yet do not become consumed by hatred. Even those who do wrong are still souls in need of redemption. Work for justice steadily. It is not only about grand gestures, but about consistent choices, fair trade, honest dealings, respectful speech, kind governance. Every act of justice ripples outward. On the soul's enemies, your greatest battles are not against flesh and blood, but against pride, greed, lust, envy, anger, and despair. These shadows seek to rule your soul. Do not try to fight them alone. Call on me. Call on the Spirit. Surround yourself with others who will pray with you and for you. Confess. Be accountable. Receive healing. Victory is not the absence of temptation, but the refusal to be mastered by it. Even if you stumble, rise again. Grace is stronger than your failure. On resurrection, living, do not think resurrection is only for the final day. Resurrection is now. Every time you rise after falling, that is resurrection. Every time hope is rekindled, that is resurrection. Every time forgiveness is given, that is resurrection.live. As resurrection people, people of hope, people of courage, people who believe that death is never the end of the story. Asterisk, beloved, remember, your worth is not measured by success, but by love. Your failures do not define you. Grace does. Your calling is not complicated. It is to love God and love others. Carry light. Carry hope. Carry mercy. Carry truth. And wherever you go, let your life be a living testimony that love is stronger than hate, forgiveness stronger than resentment, and light stronger than darkness. I am with you always, even to the end of the age.